Where is it? Yay. Oops. Trying to get this one. What's going on? What's going on? Hold on a minute. Good. Where is it? There. Huh? That's what it does. Hello, everyone.
Hello from Savannah, Georgia.
In the cold Savannah, Georgia. So much love, everyone. Do you want to share with me today?
I'm putting the heat on.
You can share with me. Sharing is caring. We both like turquoise. Come on over.
I feel like this is too much. I'm good.
Is it?
I'm good. Yeah,
Are you sure you want to share your birds of paradise?
It's good.
We're
not that cold. We're just a little freezing.
Oh, so much love, everyone. So it's our 3 years anniversary in about 5 minutes. 3 years ago today.
You remember it was 4 o'clock when I met you?
4:30.
Really?
Yeah, really.
You remember the first time I crossed your path and you didn't even say hi to me?
No, I said hello to you.
No, you didn't.
No, I did say hello to you outside.
I walked right by and you didn't even notice.
No, but I said hi.
Oh, really?
I just said hi. You don't remember?
It was like this.
No, I said hi. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Sunshine. So much love. So you're going to see us on both of the places. So we want to share with you what's happening. So much love for joining us on this beautiful Saturday anniversary. So we just wanted to open the space up as we're in the hotel. Hi, Tanya. We just left Tanya and Matteo. Already miss you already. Yeah, in that first meeting story, you heard all about it. So it was in about 4 minutes, 3 years ago, we met Michael.
I'm glad you actually remembered.
I remember the time.
I remember the time because when I crossed your path, you didn't really show any.
I didn't.
Any reaction whatsoever.
You mean response?
Reaction means
response. No, reacting is different. Response.
Well, when you respond, that is a reaction. But we won't.
It was a response.
We won't go into English now.
So happy anniversary to us. We wanted to open this space up and open it both on our YouTube here as well as right here on our. If you're joining us here on also Facebook, if you can just share a little hello here because I want to be sure if this page is working or not. And love to hear any question that you may have because we're opening just the space and answering questions and what have you. So we felt we're going to open this and celebrate our anniversary with you on this beautiful, cold, rainy, very cold, rainy day in Savannah, Georgia.
We have a riverfront view.
We are in the riverfront view. We just heard a lot of screaming outside. We're sending a lot of love right here. The beautiful boats going by, and there's not much to do right now because it's just raining, and they do have a rooftop jacuzzi hot, but it's raining cats and dogs, so we're not going anywhere.
It's really hot.
It's hot. Nice. I saw a scene coming in. I ain't going because it's raining.
It's okay, but it might be nice to be in the. Have you ever been to snow and be in the hot tub before?
Yeah, it's different than rain. I'm not going. It reminds me of when we were in Iceland. It was so cold and I got my hair wet. That was horrible.
Yeah, but in Iceland, that was
no,
that
we
was
were
beautiful.
in the glacier.
That was beautiful.
I know, but I wasn't supposed to get my hair wet. Okay. Back to our anniversary. Hi, Angela. So much love to you. Hi, darling. So let me just see who's also joining us on here. So we just wanted to open this space up a little bit and share this. It was so funny. From yesterday morning, I was telling Michael, I said, Michael, so what were you doing 3 years ago today.
I feel like I'm in a time capsule. She keeps saying, "What were you doing?"
What
at
were
this
you
time?
3 days
What were you
ago?
doing?
3 years ago today, the day before we met.
3:39
At
and 2
three-
seconds.
What were you doing in the evening? What were you doing the day off? So it's funny because don't you feel like we're in a complete different place?
Well, obviously.
Well, obviously. By the way, it feels very strange. We don't have any teas to drink. I think we're in this hotel and we should have gotten some tea.
I feel a little naked with that.
But guess what we have? The heater! For some of you that saw it on the Friday Tea Time Essential Pack, the heater is with us. I told Michael, let's bring our heater because we didn't realize how cold it would be down here. So anyway, we just wanted to come on and share a little bit about, really, as usual, raw, honest, truthfulness about these 3 years that we've been together and the day that we met. Yeah. So let's be really honest with each other. I like it. So we just want to give a little shout out to our gorgeous Tanya, our beloved sister, and her amazing son Matteo, and their amazing dog.
Grateful for her to open
so much love.
Beautiful, beautiful couple days where I was able to do the Archangel Michael transformation healing. That's why I'm a little eye weary because of just the days of transformations and being with this one. Of course, it's never a dull moment. So
me, Tanya, and Matteo, we got to spiral around quite a bit in our energy field. So it's just been so beautiful having this ancient bond coming together and sharing and I can hear you trying to hide your yawn. Yes, you did.
It's rainy, it's cold, it's
I got to try to.
I'm excited, I'm here, and it's full of great, wonderful energy. It's just been
hello, Sunshine and Angela. Thank you so much. Hi, Charles. Oh, Antoine. Yes, if I'm seeing like these eyes, if they're seeing properly. So, yeah, we just wanted to celebrate our anniversary with you, really, because I feel like part of our, well, not part, a huge portion, all of the fullness of us coming together is for service. We're public, we're
and love.
And well, of course.
Obviously. That's a small part of it.
That's obviously, it's of course our love. And we're publicly sharing.
Goodness gracious.
So Michael, tell me about that moment we started. So I did write about it because you wrote, I wrote. It wasn't it sweet that we woke up, we saw Facebook had like a little anniversary for us. It was so sweet.
I was surprised. It's amazing how they took the dates and they put everything together, and they put their pictures, and it was cute. It was cute.
It was cute. So I wrote a little love message, but I went into explanation. What happened? At that moment, where was I?
I did the same. I wrote exactly what was happening in my life.
Yeah. So a lot was happening in both of our lives.
It was quite, as I said, auspicious. It was very interesting how we came all the way across the world to come back to our home state of Maryland in a time period where we crossed in no place of Baltimore, where my mother and father and my family grew up in, and just how interesting it all aligned together in just a very magical form, like a very, very interesting way of how we came together and how it's hard to express.
Why are
because
we putting like hands around each other or something like that? Why are we like open your legs? Let me be like lovey dovey.
Okay, I'm just so cold.
This is our anniversary. I know, but it's so cold here. We can't figure out the temperature. Isn't this better? Am I sitting on your leg?
I've just been wrapped up. I'm so cold right now.
There, doesn't this feel more like anniversary, Michael? There, more anniversary.
We're a little closer now.
Yeah. And we're a little bit in this silly phase that we're in, because it's just so just beautiful to see and share with you. And there was a lot happening during that time in our lives, and and certainly we just faced a lot. And so we wanted to open this space. Some of you have journeyed with us, have been a witness to so much happening between us, and just our service, everything we share. And this moment, it's very personal, it's very open, and it's just us, very raw and real. What are some of the things you really would like to know? We want to answer those, and we want to also, I want to ask you a couple of personal questions that I haven't asked you, and welcome you to ask some of the personal questions from me. So let's just be very personal with each other. Why not?
Why not?
Yeah. So Angela, let's see. Thank you so much. Thank you for the amazing anniversary wishes. We appreciate it. I get excited about anniversaries and these things. So I just feel it's very, very special. So how did you meet? Story. So Angela, we're going to tell you. We've written about it, but I get excited to share. So do you want to hear my version or Michael's version? Because we do have our version. You know how males and females have their...
It's not the versions. It's the perspective of where you're coming from. It's the factual level of what happened, but where you were in your life, where I was in my life, and how we met together, because we were in very, very interesting spots to come together. But
okay, so let me share. 3 years ago today, I feel it's very important to start it with the morning. So I was this week, right after 11/11, I actually was started just a couple of days earlier with the 11/11 event. I had a huge 11/11 event in Falls Church, Virginia, at Bonita's Wellness Center, where Reverend Anna Jones was in town, and my sacred sister Julia had just come from Egypt. And the high councils had come in and brought information about this 11/11 gathering that we were having, and they were my guests to just bring their portion, and it was around 55 people that gathered. So, and I had just come back from my Europe tour. So a lot had taken place after the 6 weeks in the planetary work, everything to do with Magdalene that was done there. And that particular 10/10, I wasn't able to be in Egypt. I was sent back in the US at Four Corners to deliver the planetary work. Anyway, moving forward, during this particular week, 3 years ago, I had my East Coast tour. So the Wednesday, which was the 16th of November, I had an event in Baltimore, and then the next day in New Jersey, the following day in Manhattan at the art gallery, and the day after in Long Island. And all of them was around the galactic shamanic sound medicine, which was a 2-hour event, and higher dimensional consciousness and sound vibration, all sound. And through my drumming and at my big head gear, head ceremonial dress, and all of that. Anyway, so it was just totally helping people purify their field and supporting them. So interestingly enough, so I met Michael not Wednesday, but the Monday, it was the super full moon that time. I attended Reverend Anna Jones, Archangel Michael event. The very next day, for some odd reason, my events in New Jersey fell apart. The one in Manhattan, which 20 people had already signed up at this art gallery, where I had organized the event with my sacred sister Serena, that had the big art with the stories of neurons, that fell apart, and including the place where Conchetta had connected in Long Island, also that fell apart, except the place in Baltimore, which was at this place at a firehouse, at an old fire station. Having said this, in the middle of all of this, and I was trying to decide, oh my God, do I go? Do I not go? What do I do? Maybe, Great Spirit is telling me something. Hi, Patricia. Thanks for joining, sweetheart.
Hi, Patricia.
So that morning, which is the Wednesday morning of November 16, 2016, I really want you guys to hear this. I was on the phone with my dear sacred sister, Valerie Esler, who is in California, and she's been involved part of the planetary work with some of the places that would go and to bring these higher dimensional frequencies and do the activation, do the clearing on the land and what have you, a lot of sacred sites. So I was on the phone with her at that morning because I had received guidance that I will not be going to Brazil. I was planning to go to Brazil in 2 weeks, in the beginning of, in December. So interesting enough, I get on the phone with Valerie and I said, Valerie, what's going on? I'm getting that I'm not to go to Brazil. I have to go to Tulum, and then I got to go to Tikal in Guatemala. It makes no sense. And there's something going on with Belize. So she announced that, oh my God, honey, my position is changing. I got to go to Easter Island. I'm not going to be here. So this is good. You take care of that portal. I'll take care of this portal. And so we exchange some more knowledge. And I get off the phone and I just look towards the universe like this. I hang up the phone on my cell phone. And I was like, whoever is the male encounter that's supposed to be on the land, bring him to me now. That's it. That's all I said. And then I went about my day packing up the rest of the items for the event that night because I had to drive an hour before. So one second. Wait, 1 second. Safi, my dear sacred sister that I've known for 10 years. One second.
Let me express.
She had said to me, she said, honey, listen,
Let me share
I have
how,
one second, because this is
how the intro to Safi, because this will lead to your story.
No, I 1 second. So Safi had organized the event for me in Baltimore. Safi and I had met about 8 years earlier when I had my center and when I had my product line, and I was working with International Lifeline Fund, which was a woman project in 4 countries in Africa, and my product line was part of that, supporting this woman project. So that's where we crossed back. She's a powerful singer, amazing musician. So, and over time, after I closed my center, we kind of lost time. While I was in Europe, she contacted, she's like, honey, I feel like we got to connect. There's something going on. So her and I had just connected. She put this event together. And the day before, she had messaged me, honey, I met this guy and I invited him to your event. So that's all I'm going to leave it.
So you're supposed to wait because
because it's my part. Look, Angela said share your part.
Okay,
part.
But the part of it is that Sunday I met Safi before, and what was interesting, backtrack, is
that's the 12th of November.
The 12th of November, and just to lead into that, I was just coming out of Mexico, and my permanent visa that I was going to receive, the first time in 10 years where I would be a permanent resident. I have to do any paperwork to be official in Mexico, and I can have everything in set. For those that don't know, working out of the country, each year I had to do my paperwork, and it allowed me to work in Mexico. And for the 10 years I was living in Mexico, coming back to Maryland every so often. I know, my eyes been itching. And so, And so coming back out of Mexico, 2016, Mexico changed their law. Long story short, my permanent visa got canceled because I checked in the wrong passport. They changed their law, and all of a sudden my 10-year business was already sudden. It was lost because my visa got switched to a tourist visa, which I would have to start all over in a very rigorous form. So I went to Bali, back to Bali, and spent the next 2.5 months there, 3 months of just really diving deep into where my next step was, diving deep into my shamanic healing and really seeing, okay, universe, let me follow my heart and see where I'm being led next. Let me really trust spirit. And I remember just diving deep into a lot of meditation, yoga. And before I left, I had a very good friend there that was a medical intuitive. And I remember having a session with her. And
medical intuitive or psychic medium?
She's a medium, but she was a psychic medical intuitive. She called herself a medical intuitive because she was psychic and she could. Yeah. And as with all intuitives, they say things that some of them are pretty far out there. Others are in a way that are sometimes off the ballpark. And with her, she was saying some things that I thought were kind of far-fetched. And then one thing that she spoke about is, okay, I see you coming back to the States, and you're going to be going to Mexico, but it's not going to be to Sayulita, I see you going through Tulum. I said, okay. She's like, I see that you're going to be meeting a shaman. And I said, okay, so why am I going to Tulum? She's like, well, I see you doing planetary healing, and I see that you're going to be involved really helping the masculine, the sacred masculine divine. And I said, okay. I said, and so tell me more about this shaman. Well, the shaman, I see the shaman helping you. I see the shaman helping you close your center down in Sayulita. I was like, really? She's like, yeah. She's like, you're going to need this support because it's going to be very hard for you. So I listened to all of this, and I just, as everything, I just allowed to sink in and just trust whatever was supposed to come forward. So I come back to home, and my brother got married, and my dad was in.
Came back to Boston.
Back at the Baltimore, Maryland. I lived
was that in September?
That was back in September, and my brother got married middle September or October. Right, I came back at the end of September. He got married in October, and my dad was still going through a stroke, and the house was a very hard place to live. So I remember putting my tent outside, and my mom was like, why are you putting your tent out? I'm like, I'm going to connect with the land. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to do a shamanic journey. I'm going to really figure out, because my whole life was in Mexico, and like everything else, it was getting ready to be stripped away, and I had to make a decision of what step I was going to do next. So I was sitting there, and I remember just doing a lot of journeying, connecting to higher spirits, listening to my heart, and just really diving deep and just spending as many days as possible. To my mom, I was like, it's getting cold. Do you want to come back in? Long story short, 4 days before I met Honey, I went to a center of spiritual living, a beautiful place that just really speaks from the heart. There's no really religion based. It's based on all levels of offerings. And when I went there, I remember walking in, and I saw this beautiful woman playing the drums, and she was just in her spirit. And I connected with her immediately when I got in, because I could just feel her just joy and happiness. So afterwards, I went up and introduced myself, and her name was Safi. And Safi was really happy, excited. We were connecting on a shamanistic level. She was talking about Peru and our adventures down to South America that I've gone, she's gone, and she gave me her card. And she said, and she spoke about, she's like, hey, I have a really good friend that I reconnected with, and there's going to be a beautiful event on Wednesday. Here's my card. You email me, and let's connect. So, of course, I started talking to someone else, and then somehow, I don't know what happened to the card. The card just either it fell, it misplaced,
of course it did.
and I couldn't find it. So I was a little bummed, how am I going to connect with this person? Well, then all of a sudden, Safi emailed me, and so she emailed me saying it was nice to meet you. Here's the information, and so I emailed her back, and I said, okay, what do I need to do for this event? She's like, well, email Honey, and I knew at that point, I was getting so excited that I started looking at where this event was. And this event was in a place of Baltimore. And those that know Baltimore, it's kind of a dangerous place. It's one of the most, it's become a homicide city of the United States. So when I looked at where it was, I thought, it'd be really nice if I could, meet them before going down, because I didn't know what part of Baltimore it was. Going as a group felt much safer than going by myself. So I emailed Safi. I said, is it all right if I meet you at your house? She's like, yeah, we're going to have dinner before we go. Why don't you just come to my house so you can meet Honey? We can all come together and we'll go. I was like, wonderful. So that Monday was the super full moon. I remember me and my mom sitting together, and I just remember putting all the things in my life that was obstructing me, all the energies that I just wanted to release. We had a little fire. Actually, we bought a little pit from Home Depot. We had a huge fire. We each wrote things, and we placed them in the fire pit to burn. I emailed Honey, I want to say that Monday or Tuesday.
The next day. I received your email the day before I met you.
I'm going to come. I was really.
Do you remember what you said in your email? You should pull that up.
I don't remember. Okay. But I remember I was very, very excited, because I was like, shamanic, galactic sound vibration in Baltimore. What are the chances? What are the chances that is in Maryland? And just coming back from Bali, where I was just in tune with ecstatic dance, yoga, every type of event, I was just throwing myself in to feel the soul family tribe, and just to really integrate all that's been moving through my life. So to hear that was happening in my backyard, I was like, no way, this is phenomenal. I can't believe this is actually happening in Baltimore. So I remember excited, just very, very intrigued of wow, where is this going to, what's going to happen? So I remember driving to Catonsville, which was only 20 minutes from my house. and pulling up, and I saw this white little soul.
But hold on, should we pause for a second? How we crossed paths? Because I can just say what happened that morning after I said this to the universe. Pause yours now. Pause yours on my life. So that was happening on Michael's background, on his back end. So that day, like I said, I just said to the universe, whoever is the male frequency, bring him now. I literally said that. And then I went about, because I've had over this past few years, couple of people such as Darius or, for example, Mark travel, and they've been my galactic gay brothers on the land with me. And I've just not had anybody years. And the intensity of work began to start getting very, very intense to do the clearing on the land. And I knew I knew that divine partner would be coming. It was about that point 5 years earlier that the spirit had shown me who's coming. So I had gone through all the changes in my life with separation from my husband, my former spouse, and all of that. So there was just a whole lot of things was going on in that. And at that moment in my life, the person that I had met before, Michael, beautiful, beautiful person, but we couldn't really go forward. He was very honest, like, I can't take this journey, the level in which you're in service to, I cannot, like, I can't handle that frequency. So it was in August, we called it off, and I just decided to just close everything up. And I said, I'm just not going to, I'm fine. I'm just going to marry myself and marry the inner divine in me. And this vision that they gave me to a few individuals that I'm meeting is not quite matching up. So I'm just going to tuck it. But I do believe totally there is that divine partner for me. They cannot be wrong what they've shown me. And I'm going to keep saying no to these ones because I know the one that showed me will show up. So this is all on the back end. But during this particular moment in my, I was very focused on just my service. Anyway, so this moment as soon as I got off the phone with Valerie, I started packing things up, and where the location of the event was an hour away. So I called Safi. I was like, Safi, I was supposed to spend the night at her house. I said, Safi, I'm coming. I'm going to do this. She's like, oh, did you get the email of this guy, Michael, I met? I was like, yeah. I responded back to him. I'll see him. She's like, okay. I was like, Safi, I just want you to know when I have event, because I'm very focused, I don't talk to anybody. But because you met him, you said, okay, no problem. But I just want you to know, I don't engage with anybody because I am very focused on what I got to do. She's like, okay, no problem.
Good.
So anyway, so on the way to, I packed everything to spend the night. I was in a conversation with my. Oh, that's so cute. Aww. I was in a conversation with my former spouse who wanted to unfriend me on Facebook because the person that had come into his life. Let's just say I was so disgusted, so bothered with somebody that's been in my life 21 years, because now somebody's coming in my life, feels threatened, wants to disconnect our bond. We shared children. We're in great friendship. Just how mature. I was just so disgusted. Anyway, just with men. Definitely with men. Totality, not even in general. Let's be really honest.
So I pull up.
So I drove, and again, usually when I have an event, because I have to get into a certain space of consciousness, because I will be facilitating and I'm working with high dimensional frequencies, and it is a lot of star consciousness and the frequency and the transmission. So I don't really like to engage. I'm really inward. I don't talk to anybody. So I drove. The only thing was, because I was doing the video series for Bringers of Light video series, I promised that I was going to do the interview for Safi. So get to Safi's house, drop the stuff off, and I go in the car to pick up my rest of the stuff.
And I come in, I park, and I start walking toward the house, looking to see which one's Safi's house. And I see Honey's outside her car, and her back's against me, and so I walk up all nice, and I walked right by, and I was like, hello, and she's like, hey.
I said hi.
It could have been probably the least amount of communication,
least
amount of
nothing.
Not even that. I was like, okay.
I was like, hi.
That's what she's.
No, but it wasn't like that. I was like, hi, because I knew you were probably the guest.
Hi.
Hi.
And so I walked in.
Well, what was that moment when you saw me?
Well, I guess it was about the same as you because your back was facing me. I didn't know if it was you or not because it was the least amount of emotion, communication, and it was like as like stark as like okay, just like I could have said hi to a homeless person.
Yeah,
it may have given me a better feedback. But I remember walking in and then meeting Safi, and then I guess you came in.
So and we went downstairs because Safi had a recording studio downstairs, and right away to set a rest.
And then you were downstairs, and then I went downstairs.
Yeah, and you just stood there, just waited till I interviewed Safi on the video. So I was asking all the questions and all of that, and that was it. And you just like all like just watching. I remember you just like watching like this conversation, like ooh, cool. And then we went upstairs. We sat at Safi's kitchen to have some soup. So I was very inward, very, very inward, right, Michael? Right. So Safi pulled up. So I don't know what happens. Safi's like, you okay? I was like, I'm just really, I don't understand. Like, it's so bothersome. You've been married to somebody 21 years. You have children. They want to unfriend you on Facebook because they're dating somebody. Like, how immature is this? It's just like the immaturity. So I was really bothered by that, but also just allowing that space. So that's where I was, and also wanted to shift my frequency so I can be of service. And then so Michael and Safi are talking. So Safi's like, so Michael, tell me a little bit about Bali, So I'm not really engaging in anything. And then suddenly
she was asking me, about.
No, I wasn't, because you started.
Safi was asking me, what I was doing. And I was telling her that I was in a huge position of where I was coming back to Maryland, and I was in this really just cross position of not knowing what to do with my office in Mexico, because I had this full business for 10 years. I was the town's acupuncturist and healer, and my visa got denied. And I said it was so strange because here I am that I'm supposed to go back to Mexico, but yet I've received a deep message that I'm supposed to not go to Sayulita, but I'm supposed to go to Tulum. And so all of a sudden I said Tulum, and then Honey's eyes looked up, and I said, yeah.
No. So Michael says, I'm supposed to go. Michael, I remember the words exactly. So this is, again, 3 years ago today, right at this time, exactly this time. So I'm just eating my soup. I'm in my own world, and all I hear, Tulum, I'm going to 12, working with the 9th gate. Wait. My eyes looked. I was like, "What? What did you say?"
I said, I'm supposed to be doing planetary healing, and I'm going to meet a shaman, and I'm supposed to be going to Tulum, but I don't know. It was just told to me, and she's looking at me.
I looked at him. I was like, "I am going to Tulum for 12. I am working with those gates." And then Michael looked at me. I looked at him,
and Safi's like.
And Safi's between us, like, what? I was like, tell me more.
And I said, I realized that, I'm working in empowering myself and really helping with the rise of the sacred divine masculine. She's like,
I was like, I was like, sacred divine masculine. I am supposed to work with somebody who's working with the sacred divine masculine. So suddenly
it was like
no.
It was so full moon with the horns like this.
Suddenly it was like the energy just got like this honed in and like piercing through, like the way I look through the person. It's like, what you got? Like, talk to me. Like, because like because I had just said in the morning, whoever is the male frequency, bring him that. So I start seeing like these sort of like light flashes.
Behind me?
No. So we were at this kind of like small oval round table. So here I was sitting, we're sitting across each other, and then
you were sitting across from Safi,
and then Safi was there. So then I started seeing these light bulbs flashing like in my body. Yeah, that's what happened. I was like, talk to me. Like, that's why I wanted to know more. And I was like, wait, I'm going. So I was like, and I was like, wait a minute here, let me pay attention. I just said to the universe, whoever is that male frequency, the encounter that I have to serve the thing with bringing up now, he just arrived. This could be him. And I was like, I don't want to get caught in anything else. Let me just pay attention. So that's what happened in that moment.
And what was interesting, it went from like the very serious person
very serious
to like, tell me more. And I'm like, wow, there's actually a level of interest. There's actually a level of intrigue, because before it was like the cold-hearted judge that was like sitting there being like, who are you? What are you doing? And so it was funny because I'm just happy to be with
you were so cute. You were just like,
I was just like, I was like a little like flower, just like, here I am back out of like Bali, just integrating back to the States. And, you know, when you go to a magic place for 2.5 months, I was in such this place of just unbelievable awe because of what transpired for me, and knowing that before me there was just a major shift happening in my life. And what was funny with HoniB is when I met them, again, it wasn't in any
this, by the way, just so that if you guys want to see, this is Michael and I a week later. This is exactly a week later. We'll tell you about it. So can you see what? So can you see it? That's Michael and I. So what he looked like, but I will tell you about this because, yeah.
So it was interesting because there was a lot of interconnections going on, and again, I was just like along for the ride, being like, "Wow, I'm really intrigued about this event." And again, it was like just respecting both, listening to both, and yeah, hair shorter, no beard.
Hair shorter, beard, like so. I couldn't really look at him too much because he didn't have to be. I would have been too distracted.
Even if she was distracted.
I was there.
So
then what happened? So we had to get ready. So the thing was, there were a couple of keys. He said 12-12, Tulum, and this 9th gate. I was like, what does he know about 9th gate? And I right away went to, I was like, what do you know about 9th gate? What do you know about this? What do you know about this? He's like, what planetary? I was like, I'm a planetary healer. What have you done? Like right away getting into questioning, like, you know, are you like trying to pull something? Because I was like looking into, is he just talking or does he know what he's talking about? And so, because, you know, I've committed my life to this, so I didn't want to just hear somebody that's just trying to talk.
She's been around too many guys that have schmoozed, and so
too much schmoozing crap.
So
you can see right through
my innocent angelic self that comes in, and she's ready to like. So I come in just like a boy off the boat from Bali, and just, you know, emerged in just in a beautiful setting, and we, you know.
So we got in the car. Let's go ahead. We got in the car. Michael sat in the front seat. Let me just tell you how this began. 3 years ago today. And this story does not change. Do you know how they say, what is that word? The apple doesn't fall from the tree, right?
Do you ever see, like, wait. Do you ever see the GPS? It says turn right, but it says turn right like a couple seconds after you turn right. Well, I'm talking to HoniB, and
he's all excited. Here's the address. We got to get to this place. So Michael's in the front. Now he was like, oh wow. He's all excited.
Learning more. I'm getting excited because
he's getting excited.
She's telling me about
me and Safi.
Because I'm inquiring about her shamanic healing. I'm inquiring all these things. So all these things. She's like, okay, where do I go next? And I look at the phone. I'm like, okay, go here. And so again, like the phone wasn't, the directions wasn't, you know. The voice wasn't telling me as quick as it was happening. So the right that we were supposed to go to, she's like, where am I supposed to go? I'm like, oh, we just passed the exit. She's like, oh, don't worry. We're just here to spread a little more light. So we went one exit further, and then we had to, like, you know, you around and do a U-turn and come back and then follow that. But it was funny because she thought I was like geegy-weegy.
So right away I was like, okay, he's a little bit like too spacey, you know, like here's another one who's just sort of like in
I missed an exit because I was so intrigued with her.
So multitask. He's another one that just cannot multitask. So anyway, we get to the so we get to the place, and again, it's not the best place, frankly, but it's at an old firehouse. So we get there, we put on Safi, and usually when I set up, I want nobody around because I got to clear the energy out of the place. And this place had so many ghosts and spirits in there. And let me just share this with you. When I first created the event, I was like, this is like calling the star seeds. Like there were certain RSVPs, and I didn't even think Syrians or Lyran or Andromedan or Arcturian star beings, you know, that were in human form, that would be called to show up at all the places in Baltimore. And that's what I was working with. So So anyway, so I started setting things up, clearing the energy, and I asked Safi, Michael to go in the room in the back. So there was one other lady, they said that I set the whole thing up, and then I changed, put my headdress up. My headgear is filled with, so this was a ceremonial headdress with all the feathers. That's the one that you get to see in this one, by the way, well, I think I've just changed the picture, right, Michael? Did I change the picture of it?
I'm not sure, but she told me to sit. She said you and Marsha
Oh, this
sit.
one.
She said she basically,
this one that you see, but behind it is all feathers and stuff.
So it was interesting when we were sitting back there. Honey comes back to get stuff. She's like, "Can you help me?"
No, so it took me an hour to sit down, and I got my drum, and I had to clear the energy because there were just so many spirits there. But I asked Safi to come help me out and set everything up, put it up. So we set it up for 45 people.
Okay, so
after Monday, and I'm getting ready to start.
So we're sitting out there, and me and this woman Marsha, who were just talking, and we're sitting talking, and we're assuming that they're going to come out and get us. And so we're sitting there, and it seemed like forever. I'm like, okay, I guess it's just taking a while for them to set up. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if it was you or Safi that came. Are you guys coming?
I came out.
Honey's like, are you guys coming?
So all these people had come in, and this person who I just met, who's just like very spacey, he's still not there. And he had said, I want to be in the front. So
no one got us.
Nobody got it. So I went there. I was like, are you guys coming? Come on.
And I was really excited.
Yeah.
And I was really happy. So when you're giddy and you're happy, spacey, and you have the ability just to be ecstatic in that joy of just being, wow, I'm just going to follow and see what happens. So interesting enough, when Honey came out, I saw like 45. I'm like, where are these people coming? Why did they come and get us? So I was a little frustrated because I wanted to sit right in front. So I take my little sarong and place it right in front of Honey. Or I looked around, I saw a spot right in front of Honey. I was like, wow, there's
right
actually
in front
a spot.
of the altar,
in front of the altar. I was like, no one sat there, and I put it right on the ground because for me, I always like to be front and center. I want to feel the energy. I want to be in the fire. I want to participate just to feel the fullness of the energy. So I was like, wow, it's right there. So I remember going right up to the front and lying down, thank you, Spirit. Thank you for at least holding a spot for me, because obviously someone forgot to come and get us.
No, I didn't forget. I was busy setting up. So anyway, so then it began. So I went through the explanation and just began. And interestingly enough, just I want to give a shout out. I just want to give a shout out to Marsha, to Kimberly, to Dave, to Z. I met them all that night. It was the same night that Michael and I met. So it's a happy anniversary to all of us. You're totally with us on that special sacred. And also Myra and Modesty. So much love. Just so much love. So anyway, so as I began, I go through the explanation what takes place, and I started going through the drum and clearing the energy, allowing people to open their sound and bring in the sound medicine, and do just all kinds of different voices that are, some of very deep ancient voices coming to create the clearing. And it often is what I've been told over the years. It's very much as if you're in 2 days of medicine circle without medicine, but within 2 hours you have a full experience of medicine, because it's that powerful what takes place in there. So anyway, what was so interesting, because I wasn't paying attention at all to Michael, to anybody else, because I was very focused. So just FYI, when I facilitate that space, and I've been facilitating in Europe, in US, in several countries, as a gatekeeper, I am in charge of what's coming in, what's going out. I have to set a very strong parameters, what is being interacted within that space when we're particularly using that level of sound transmission. So as a result of it, I'm very focused on just, and I really gotta prepare my temple to enter that, so I don't do harm to myself or anybody else. And at the same time, if I see interference coming in, to be able to get them out and what needs to be done. I've had experience where my entire sound bowl smashes because all kinds of things are taking place. So there's all kinds of stuff like that. So with this particular one, what was so incredible to me was that it was the first time that I was facilitating and I was being a witness. I was like, oh my goodness, what's happening? It's so much easier on my system, as if I'm having a supportive field by me, but I don't know what it is. And my attention kept going towards, there's something going on. Michael was the one in the front of my altar. I was like, something is interesting here. The next part,
one second.
Okay.
And being that I've experienced not what she was working with, but I've experienced many, many gatherings, ceremonies, spiritual meetings, whatever you may call it. I've been indoctrinated before meeting Honey in so many different types of energies that it allowed me to be as comfortable to voice, to participate. And what I really felt was to anchor the energy from the masculine, because there was probably only 4 other masculine there, that I came back and I was just, anytime there was noise, volume, sound, I was expressing to the highest level. When there was breath, I would take the initiative to breathe higher. It was actually, as a participant, I felt like in my natural ability to participate, it actually helped engage others around to bring it up, because I was so intrigued, I was so excited, I was so happy, and I just wanted to participate to the fullest amount of my expression, that automatically helped spread in a domino effect of those around me, because I didn't hold back. I was literally just, when Honey is like, when we were opening our chakras, when we were opening our body, I was just giving it a full blast, which I felt you were very aware of, because it brought a specific energy to the group.
I thought it was very interesting, because typically there's a lot of my system, so it was so incredible. I was like, wow, there's some balancing in it, balancing frequency. So as we went through it, they were laying down, then I'm going through all the different sound, there's specific hertz sound frequencies, instruments that was being used for very specific purposes for different bodies coming into alignment. And what was so amazing, at one point I felt the entire room got filled with Saint Germain, and I was hearing Saint Germain, feeling Saint Germain. I was like, holy heavens, the whole room is filled with violet flame. But of course, others can't see it. They're all in their space laying down. So I then grabbed the phone and I took a picture. And this picture happened to be right on top of Michael. You see the violet flame and you see a face inside the violet flame. And it is an extraterrestrial being, but it's so powerful. And then I take people into this. Then they're up, then they're inside each other, and they're creating the womb sound with each other. Like imagine 55 people that are like this, and then you can clearly see the violet transmuting flame entire around them. So it was so powerful. It was so incredible. This 2.5 hours that then afterwards we finished and said everybody out. Then of course me, Safi, and Michael had to go back and
they helped to clean up.
So Michael helped clean up
everything. I remember that time when I went through it, that I literally just went through one of the deepest journeys that I've ever gone through, without using any type of plant medicine, without using any type of additional levels, that brought me to stages that I felt very similar to what we would say on ayahuasca or San Pedro, because going to these portals, like even when you were saying, I was trying to remember what did I feel, and it was like this huge journey. And I remember there was points where I felt like I was in a jungle. There was points where I was going through these waves of just colors, waves of rays of light moving through me. It was like a very transcendental,
it's a very psychedelic experience, but without any outer stimuli. And you know, like, and you got my email. Like, I'm very, very strict. You're not allowed to take any of that 48 hours before my event, because I need you to tap into that inner heart place and the breath. Use that to have your own natural experience.
And I remember when I was going through it, it put me into such an altered state afterwards that I would just in complete gratitude, in complete awe, because I was so activated and so excited to not only experience that, but to feel that in Maryland, in Baltimore, and to have that in a way that just brought my heart into such joy, such
and you
happiness.
were so expressive. So when it finished, everybody left. It was me, Safi, and Michael. I gotta find that picture of. Do you have that picture?
Three of us.
The three of us. It should be here. So this evening, I wanna show this picture to you all. But it was so sweet because Michael was like filled. His eyes was filled with like joy, and it was so beautiful the way Michael expresses gratitude. Like I had never experienced somebody that level of not from a place of like
Sweetness. It was like
not giddy, but it was like from the place of so much love, so much respect, so much gratitude, so much appreciation. The level in which you expressed to me that the awe of gratitude, it was like I had not experienced that. Like it really touched me. It really, really touched me. And how vocal you were.
I felt
it wasn't just like, oh, thank you. You were like, you were just like enchanted, thank you, but not from it. It was such a joy that it was not from a sexual energy. It wasn't from like a oh baby. It wasn't from like trying to take me home. It wasn't like all that shit really that I would face with other men all the time. It wasn't any of that.
It was from such purity of gratitude, and you know, like when you're touched so deeply that you have to express it. And for me, because I want to express it just from the authenticity of my heart, all I could do was just be like, wow, I really want to thank you for this experience, because, you know, being where I was in that state of being, it was like this ultimate clearing that just allowed me just to be like, wow, thank you. Like just to be in a space, to hear the instruments, hear the voice, be in a group, and really be held with beings that felt so united, to hold a space where we're all in a coil of just love, and to give a heartfelt love, to sit in a sacred circle, to hold that space, to see what we came into, why we were thankful. That all I could do was express that appreciation. That appreciation came from such a deep core that all I could do was just share it in my extreme happiness. And that extreme happiness kept digging deeper, because I was like, you just don't understand. Like, this is something that really touched me. And I mean, it went through a level that even Safi, I think all three
I'm pulling up that picture.
We were vibrating with such a high frequency, and our frequencies were so high that we had to like focus on what we needed to do to pack up, because I feel like we were all blown away. And because we were all blown away.
But it was interesting. So for me, it was such an honor, because Safi is such a profound musician, and she's so incredible gifted, and I'm not a singer at all. I can just get into a space and do what I need to do. That's it. Like, I don't know musical notes, I don't know any of that. But when I'm doing transmissions, there's another presence that really works through me. And it was so beautiful the way she responded. And she's like, honey, I really want to collaborate with you. I just felt so honored. And Michael just shared so much appreciation. We just felt so much gratitude for this moment. And I just want to pull this up really quick for you.
We went back to Safi's, and this is at this point was like around like almost midnight. And at that point I was just wired.
Because your car was there.
My car was there, and at that point Safi's like, well, you're more than welcome to spend the night. And I was sitting there like, there's no way I'm going to spend the night tonight, because I'm not going to sleep, because I'm going to be so wired in this energy. I had to go home and connect. And so it was so funny, because before I left, I remember, you know, when we were talking, honey was like, well, we have to talk more, because what you were speaking about Mexico, I'm very intrigued to speak a little bit more about this. So I said, okay, I'll text you my number. I text my number, no joke, right at 12:12. When she received my number, because sevens go through my calendar, my birth, and I chose my cell phone number. My cell phone number ends with 777.
Yeah.
And so that was just almost like one of those little things that was like, wow, look at the serendipity of what the time was spent, where I'm supposed to be, meeting Honey, and just, again, all of it coming in a direct nature that allowed us to meet. And the beautiful thing was, it wasn't sexual, it wasn't attractive, it wasn't based on our lower 3 chakras. It was all based on, we met, we knew that we had to speak more, and it was like almost like ching, 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 ching. Things started to roll without even like second guessing what the next step was, because we were just following what the universe was providing. And it was at such a clear, clean, pure state that when we look back at it, it's phenomenal to see how fast and how quick. Because I remember the next morning.
but hold on. So we get to, we're gonna.
So I left. What happened when I left?
Okay, so we got to Safi's house. No. You wanted that, right?
Oh no, I came in and I walked over, left the room,
we came in,
said,
and I felt like I was like,
gentleman.
No. So we came in. I was like, we sat down. I was getting retired, and there was something about Metatron coming in. Had to talk about Metatron, and
there's nothing like, wow.
I was like, I was very, very much. I was receiving. You gotta talk to. Like, I saw those lights come up. Like, we gotta talk. 12:12. Are you serious? Like, I'm going. You're going.
So
that
means
means.
San Diego. Thank you, Angela. Wow, I'd love to be swimming in San Diego as well. Oh,
not right now. Look at that rain. so anyway, so when we talked about that, and especially I spoke about the Metatron, and I was getting sleepy, and I wanted you to stay to talk a little bit, but because I needed to decide, I was going and I needed to know who it was, and I already had received some with this guy, but I needed to make sure, okay, is this guy better not be playing around? I don't do no bullshit. Like, if he's like, he's got to do his work. He better know what he's doing. He better know. I don't play. Like, so that was the thing right away. It was so interesting. So he took my number. Said, I'll message you. So I received his message right at 12:12. I was like, oh my goodness, I can't deny this. And then his last 3 digits was 777. That's the I'm working with this 7 frequency, that the work that needed to be done with the 9th gate. And I needed to know, how much does he know about the 9th gate? Has he even worked with the gateway before? Does he even know what's going on? Like, so there was a lot of questions I had, and I wanted to be sure, like, he's not just another one that wants to schmooze just to get on the road, just to see what it is that I do on the land, and any of that. So I went to bed. I barely could sleep. There was so much happening in me. And so here's the best part. So hold on a minute. So here's the best part. I'm going to share this with you. So I wake up in the morning. I get a text. I get a text from Michael. It says, hello, beloved one.
Dear beloved one.
Dear beloved one. It was a pleasure to meet you. Oui, Casper.
I was not that.
Mon chéri, oui, ooh la la.
I wasn't like that. I said, dear beloved one.
Well, he
Thank
said,
you.
Dear beloved one, with a picture of that, the shaman's cave in Sedona, in a heart-shaped person sitting in there. Imagine, I get that, and I'm like, this boy better know what beloved one is all about. I've been waiting for my beloved. You dare allow that word to come out of you. You better own it. You better own
I said,
it.
dear beloved one.
You did say
and I don't know what the exact words, but
let's pull it up. I'm going to tell you exactly what you
dear
said.
beloved one, I'm so grateful. Thank you for this opportunity of last night. I remember it being very, very, very cordial. It was very, very mature, very, very respectful, and very honorary of what happened in the most cleanest way possible, so that the message, when it came through the shaman cave, I love, because it had a monk and a shaman with a heart shaped around it. So I knew that would hold the love that touched my heart that night for the connection of spirit and the ability to show that in a picture, because I was so blown away. It was very
powerful, and I was whoa.
And that picture showed to me like it was like a very spiritual, powerful, element to show my gratitude, my thanks, my love in the most deepest respect toward her. And then obviously the beloved was an energetic frequency that came out.
You said to me, you used the word beloved one, so I said it. I'm like, but I feel that, So anyway, what was interesting, as soon as I got that message, I was like, gotta talk. So right away, I was like, Michael, it was nice to meet you. We gotta talk, like that night, like right away. So we got on the phone right away, and immediately in a couple of days we met.
That day we were communicating. I said, no, I just want to thank you for this. And she goes, I want to thank you for supporting it. I want to thank you for this.
So we went through back and forth.
We went back and forth in the amount of communication of being
grateful so thankful for each
and
other.
thankful for each other. And then there was a moment where my dad made a noise. I said, oh, my dad's having a stroke right now, or is it a stroke? I said, oh, and she said something very nice about, just like something very cordial, very nice about where he was in his position. And so the whole conversation was in such a high vibrational gratitude way of honoring, of meeting each other, and just really, really, really being
very
appreciative
respectful
of what happened, that you could tell that it was constantly of just like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Again.
Again.
Thank you. and in such a pure way, because we knew that it was out of respect versus out of what many may see of somewhere getting to a point or trying to find a way or a motive or suspicious, or like there was none of that. All it was just pure kindness, pure light that was just being reflected back and forth, to the point that it was like, wow, we're talking like I think for an hour now.
We talk on the phone. I was in the parking lot and we talk, and then we had to meet right away. So let's just make it kind of short, because I had taken my son Devon to the soccer game.
Okay.
So I had to talk to, because I was getting traveling, needed to know, is this the person who's coming with me to Tulum? So let's just say within 2 weeks.
After 3 times we met.
After 3 times. That was the first time we met. We met another one, and that's a whole nother story. What all that took place in there. Meanwhile,
just tell the true story of Benito.
That one was
we were the strands of our own
shards of a soul
that's
another
story. To come together
that's another story.
This, and that was the
very
second
uncomfortable.
Take your socks off again.
So the fan is it. So
I need to blame it on the fan.
So it was so funny, because we got on the road in 2 weeks to 3 countries to serve planetary, and it was very clear that we're just 2 people coming together to service. There was nothing else planned, nothing else, other than very strict between him and I, like, you're not coming this side, I'm not coming that side, like that's it. We're going to be very respectful to each other, and I'm not here to play around, and I'm not interested in sharing my body. I don't go that way, and like just.
Nor was I trying to be flirtatious.
And he wasn't.
Nor was I trying to be.
And I didn't. I want to make sure he's not, having any other agenda also, and just very focused on delivering the work. We'll talk about that later. But let's ask some personal questions from today. What would be a question you've never asked me? And we want to open the space up for you guys to ask questions, because we've journeyed these 3 years. We've experienced so much together, so much challenges, so many difficulties, so much magic, so much insanity, so much sanity, so much like I feel like the range is a full spectrum. So, okay, so I have a question to ask you.
Okay.
We got to be very honest.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, well, sit up to be honest with me.
I am. You're sitting on my leg.
I'm not.
What's this?
Okay, I don't know, move the leg there. By the way, this is my new unicorn pants, you all. Look at that. Okay. Okay. So, when when did you feel that like heart of yours like skip a beat and you're just like, you know how you swallow in that recognition, like, holy moly, I can't deny this, like I'm truly in love. When was that? Do you remember that moment? Was it a moment for you?
Yes, I know exactly.
Tell me.
12/12.
Yeah. On 12.
Do you remember what happened on 12/12?
There's a lot happened on 12.
Should we tell them what happened on 12/12?
Well, which part of 12? There was so much. When we were in Belize.
No, we were actually in Tulum.
No? 12/12.
This is what I have to remind
Hold on a minute. Oh, yeah. 12/12. Okay, confession time. Oh, that 12.
What other 12/12?
The 12/12.
Okay, so we want to do
raw, real, honest.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
So we do our planetary healing work, and of course, honey, in her healing work, she has to take, she has to disrobe and connect with the land, because obviously everything.
We were in a very secluded
place, and
let's just say extremely secluded place.
So 12/12 and 12/12. So afterwards,
but let them know. I mean, it's a very secluded
we did a
place.
very, 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 very powerful
opening the Stargate. Like it was very, very powerful. What happened?
I remember afterwards we had to go jump in the ocean. So we went to go jump in the ocean, and at that point, you were like, she went out without any clothes, I went out with any clothes.
But I was already naked.
Right. So
whole work that I did was
already naked, and I only had my shorts on.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, I'll take my clothes off and go jump in the ocean, and so I went out,
and we were kind of far from each other.
And then we came back in, and we sat, and she's like, okay, let's just have some tea now.
Oh yeah,
so she brought the tea.
Put clothes on.
No, you put clothes on. We may have like a wrap around us. But like, you're still naked, stuff right there. So so I just remember that we're sitting there, and we're having some tea, and then you looked at me, and then I looked at you. And then just listen. Just listen. You're gonna say something. And all of a sudden you looked at me, I looked at you, and then I just felt this inclination to kiss you. Yeah. And I remember kissing you, and then from that, when you kissed me, so when I kissed you, then all
it was magical.
And then it was such magical that she attacked me.
But did that skip your heart?
Skip my heart. We then were making love on the beach.
Butt naked. In the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of nowhere. In Tulum. And I'm like.
Totally in our birthday suit.
And not even imagining this was going to happen. I mean, I was just like.
Because, I mean, you have to say that planetary work was so intense, what was done.
So, at that moment.
And that's not the norm,
right.
Michael. I just want you to know that.
So, I felt that. Of course, skipped my beat, because after we however you express your French. And you just remember afterwards, you were like, "Are you all right?" And I was just like, I was like twinkled. Remember we got to go get the pizza, and are you all right? Are you good? And I was just like, I didn't know what happened. I was just like, is this real? Did this actually happen?
No, because we hadn't kissed. We hadn't, like, nothing.
Nothing. And you were sitting next to me naked, and it was like, but there was one point that I do remember when we were sitting before we left, and you were taking my hand and holding my hand in the car, in the windows, and you were just holding my hand. You're just feeling my hand. And that was very sweet. So I could feel myself, and wow, this is very sweet, but still being very mature and honoring what was happening, because I was honoring your spouse, because you weren't fully divorced. You were separated, but not fully. Yeah,
we had been for 4 or 5 years.
And so at that moment, I was just very blown away of like, wow, that point skipped my beat.
So that was the moment.
That was the moment itself right there. What about you? When did your heart? I mean, that was a very powerful moment. That was a very, very powerful moment. I mean, to be in planetary healing, I feel. And
I've never experienced that before.
I feel like our hearts united in that moment.
Oh my gosh.
how do you? I mean, on a beach,
that at that level,
you know,
opening that and what
in the
was
middle,
happening
in the middle
in
of
there.
broad daylight,
And I had the star code in my hand. I'm like, Michael, come here, spin it the other way. You had no idea. You're trying to not to. I'm like, pay attention, spin it the other way. You had no clue what I was saying. Like, and I'm like in transmissions with the accordion, like trying to open this up, bring the purity flame.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we couldn't be intimate before that, because they had to be very purified. So, well, why are you gonna ask me another question?
Okay, I asked another question. That was the question.
That was my question.
Your question.
And if you all have any burning desire question that you want to ask, we're opening it up. We're celebrating our anniversary, so it's an open space. You can ask whatever question you like.
Well, I guess my curiosity would be before we left, what did you tell Carl and your children? Like when you said, I'm going to Mexico. We're just always curious because I know Nadia from France was like, you called and you're like, well, I met someone. And she was like, and I know that like there was.
But I was very honest, same as always, because Darius had been on the road with me.
Right, but there was this giddiness. There was not Nadia.
No,
it was not Nadia. It was who was she?
Michelle.
No, from France.
Barbara.
Because Barbara was saying how giddy you were.
I made a shaman.
Yeah, because Barbara said how giddy you were when you.
She said that.
She said that, but I guess.
No, but that night
I told
that night to Barbara, I said I met someone. It's interesting.
Right.
That's it. It was just because it just caught my interest. So,
but I guess when we went on the road and
the kids and Carl, I told the same thing. I gotta go. Same as always. Doing planetary work, I met somebody who's going to be on the land with me. That's it. Very simple. Like, not because that's exactly what it was. Like, it wasn't. Because everything had changed. I was in the middle of so much change. Yeah. That was my question. Did anybody has any question? No question from anyone. Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you, Sally. Thank you, Suzanne. Let's see. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Amparo. Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Letitia, Tanya, Ellen, Irina. Thank you so much for joining us. So we'd like to know, hi, Patricia and Angela and Sancha. Do you all have any questions for us before we wrap this up? It's been so much fun to share this.
Let's ask more questions for each other.
One question.
Yeah.
Okay. So, question.
Here's my question.
Okay.
Based on your experience with men.
Yeah.
Because when I met you, there was a lot of anger toward the toxic masculinity.
Absolutely.
Obviously, that's life journey path for you. And there was a lot of lack of trust.
Yeah.
Based on what you met of me in that short time.
Yeah.
And then making that decision to go to Mexico with me. How did you feel in just the trust factor of being like, okay, we're going to this country, we're going to 3 places, and just the 3 days that we spent and how we met, where did you feel in your sense of just like comfort level?
Well, it was the night that we went to, it was the day that we spent for Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. That was it. You proved it to me, like right there. I can trust you. Right. Because I needed to know for my own safety, are we going to share a room? Or are we not going to share? If you're going to share, are we going to have 2 beds? Right. And are you going to be respectful to me? And you clearly demonstrated that. So I knew I can trust. Right. And the rest, because I've done this, you know, like I can just trust and no problem. And I knew I would be in good hands, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. I don't feel I have any questions to ask you. Okay, I have a question. Yeah. There you go. So, when did you feel inside of you like this is my partner that I'm going to share my life with. When was that moment? I actually don't know that moment. Or has it happened yet? I don't know. A confession stand, you know?
When did it happen? Well, I feel it's always been there. It's been growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. I feel like when we met, it's been like a fire that's been like ascending and growing. And then obviously there's been times where the fire has been dimmed due to our beautiful transformations of all that has come to challenge, to test, to expand. But I feel there's been an excitement of love that has just been like, it's like,
no, that like that when you had surrendered to like there's that moment, like there's that peace, like wow, like I found her, like, you know, there wasn't the quest for searching anymore or anything like that. When was that moment for you? Or was there a moment like that?
Well, I feel like when we made love, that's when my heart was just like, whoosh. Okay. And I feel like when my heart opens for a love, for a being that I am committed to, then I am faithful to my heart for that woman. So and I allow my heart and my love and to be committed and to allow that to take form.
Okay, so that's okay. Thank you. Let's see what if Patricia has a question. Can you read Two Souls United as well, especially the two of you? As
what about yourself?
When jumping off the there. Okay, thank you so much. So no question from anybody. So maybe we'll just wrap this up then, because I can't say hi, Dimitri. So much love, Dimitri. You're in the middle of our story of when we met 3 years ago and exactly what happened. So, okay, here's the funny part I do have to share. I remember that first week I met Michael, like we met my best friends, Michelle, and as soon as Michelle saw Michael, like behind Michael, she was like pointing Michael, he's the one. I'm like, what do you mean he's the one? She's like, he's the one. I'm like, just going on a trip with him. Like, you know, it was so funny. Like,
and Patricia, I already did a magical hand ceremony this past summer, so we're beyond proposals right now because we already have our ceremony.
We have our, where is it? We have our hand and I don't know what we call it.
Well, this past summer when I
we have the sacred hand ceremony. We don't call it proposal.
When I created a crystalline diamond, crystalline heart where I dedicated my love to her back in August.
Yeah, so we have our sacred hand ceremony. Yeah, that's what we call it. So thank you so much. So, yeah, wow, 3 years. So at this time, 5:41, 3 years ago, Michael, I was finishing setting up the event so I can start it at 6 o'clock.
And I was talking to Marsha.
You were talking to Marsha. Marsha Childress. So amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, it was because we placed our hands together and I brought in all the symbols and all the energy forward to really display and dedicate my love in just the purest way that I could share what it was in the fullest expression. And that was beautiful because it was great to go into the apartment and find every symbolic object to share and then present to her, and then to use humor, love, and light to bring forth, because some of the laughter that we've had throughout our whole 3 years had to be displayed in the giddiness, in the excitement, and the joy, and the love. And so it's been a journey, and it's been.
So just speaking of, it's been a journey. So those who are sacred divine union, what would you say? Would you say in our sacred divine union, has this been an easy journey? That's my question.
Has it been an easy journey? I would say easy is a judgment, because easy or difficult. What I would say, we have been tested. I have been tested to the highest level that one could possibly be put forth. And I feel the test is of our own mastery, of our love, of what are we willing to do to stand up for love. And in that, I realized that my own tests were all of my stuff, my shit that had to come up and to recognize. And not only recognize, but to go through it at the same time that I met Honey, and to realize that it's one thing to meet someone and then to go into this journey. It's another thing to meet someone and then be brought into so close that we had to align our own energies individually and together at the same time so that our vibration could be intersynced. And so I would say in all of what we've gone through, I can personally look at it saying it has been I don't want to say challenge, because it tested to the highest level. It tested to the highest level with the joy, the excitement, and the love of when we passed a test, or we got over a hump, or we down to a valley, up to it. It's always been in a greater expansion, a greater gift, and a greater vibration that we move through, because it has been, there's been moments that have just been like mind-blowing, heart-blowing, excruciating, painful, exhilarating, loving, magical. It's like I feel like we've gone through every spectrum of the highs and the lows, and to go through them so we can experience them, share them, and really learn from them from a perspective to say divine union isn't just, peace, love, and happiness all the time. Divine union brings up everything within us to be shown, and everything to be expressed. Like you can't hide anything. And to me, it's like when you've taken those steps individually and then come together and then realize that, you can't, there's a moment where one person is going to see directly through you, let alone myself seeing directly through me. So you can't hide anything. So on that level, it's been very interesting to see how these 3 years have been just extraordinary in every emotion, in every level. Emotion. Like we've gone through, like, if like tomorrow, like we ascended, and you're like, well, how was it? It's like, like we've gone through so much, and I wouldn't take anything away from it, because it's taught so much for me, for our union, and really to others of what it is to go through the fire of transformation, to go through the resurrection when that light comes through you, to see the shadow, to see the darkness, to see what is it that we're hiding, and then to fully acknowledge that, and not only acknowledge it, but to express it in ways that can never be expressed until you find the truth and the love to fully reveal it.
Okay, so I have a question to ask you.
Okay.
So what would you say has been my greatest strength?
Your greatest strength?
Yeah. Like the strength that you see me, that's helped you tremendously.
Automatically, your greatest strength is your support. Your support of who you are and what you do, I feel, in your love. And coming home and having a father that was passing away, and literally coming into a country that I was fish out of water, you stood behind me. You stood in
front of me, behind your front side.
You stood in front of me, behind me. But your greatest strength is you bring everything of your heart. You bring everything in what you have to me, for not just me, but for us. And it's so unbelievable that you do it with such grace. You do it in such humbleness. You do it in a way that allows me to feel like I am the most fortunate man in the whole galaxy, because there's no limitation to your givingness. You give and give and give. And to me, I've always felt it, this abundance of support. I may have not acted from that in my own egoic nature due to times where I was in that immature place. Yet it has been just so unbelievable to really feel supported, to feel lifted. And when I say support, not just standing with me, in times where I just really needed someone to be there. And without you saying anything, you were there. In any moment that I was in a place and I was upset, your wisdom and magic was right there to like lift me out of it and to share, even recently. So I thank you for being that support. Thank you for being that wisdom. Just thank you for being that love that has always been by my side. I feel like since I met you, it's been this, you know, when they say when two lovers meet, the most important is the friendship. And I feel what's so magical is when we met, we immediately became best friends. Because we had to support each other in moments before we even knew anything about it. And when we did it, it was like rocket fire. And then as soon as once we engaged, that's when
And do you want to press that over there? Because it's getting like really, really beautiful. Wow. So I want to answer that. Let me just open this back up here and we wrap this up. And I would say the most incredible strength that you have demonstrated to me is just not backing down on love. Numerous amount, however many I would be upset, frustrated. I'm like, that's it, I'm done. I'm out of here, I'm leaving, that's it, I'm on, this ends, done. You persisted, you would not give up, you stayed. You're like, with your love, I'm not going anywhere. I'm like, I'm going somewhere, I'm done. I'm out of here, I'm done, I'm out of here. But you, relentless in your love.
Once a month.
Once a month at least. It's amazing. This is not the right alignment. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. That's it. You're not my beloved. I'm out of here. My beloved. That's it. That I'm out of here. But astonishing to me. But that's how I really just much respect because that's not me. Much respect, like you got that one down, you know, and because then you from that you really listen carefully. Then you had the will and the drive to actually truly create a change. So I was like, wait a minute, okay, that's nice.
It's
so
not just nice.
No, but it's not that. It's like, okay, that allow me to feel the trust, like
safety.
Well, the trust, safety later, you know. So, but what I feel again, like the strength is your ability to just truly stay in that place of love. Then you every now and then you kick, but you just stay in that place. So that was quite remarkable, like really, really remarkable. So
I thought you were going to say my hands. But
your hands are amazing. So anyway, I feel we've shared quite a bit, and we're so grateful for all of you joining us and sharing with us. Well, yeah,
it's magical. It's great to share what it
has
been.
Fun.
It's been a fun, and here we are in Savannah, Georgia, and we had all these plans because
we had so much planned, but it's been rainy, cold.
So we're allowing the love just to be shared with you guys, and let's
give from our perspective, from your heart, based on our direct experience. Those who are called to a sacred divine union, they know there's a sacred divine partner coming in their life so they can serve together. If you were to say 1, 2, or 3 things, what would you say? When we say one, I say one.
Okay, well, I'll just say one. I feel it's very important. It's very important to have the power to stand up for love, not just for the being, but for yourself, because it's so important to really understand that this power of love is not just with one, not just with two, but with the energy in between and the connection to source. And to have that, it requires such a deep commitment and will, such a deep reverence. It's not just like this, it's a deep, deep will. And I find that has given, that's what I have really, really harnessed since meeting HoniB, of what divine is. There is this will for divine love, this will to be committed, this will to love like you've never loved before, this will to be valued like you never valued someone before. And it starts within. And that's really the biggest step to really, I had to really become aware. I have to love myself like I've never loved myself, so I can expand that love to one that I've never loved to that capacity before. I have to value myself to the value of my value, because if I can't do that, then how am I going to value someone to the capacity I've never been able to value someone before, and give that value like she's never been valued before? To honor someone to the highest level, I have to honor myself first. And so for that, it is given me the greatest will to be the fullest divine expression of myself by each day, each moment of constantly looking at myself in the very beginning of the day as the beginner, and to look at myself as the master at the same time. Start at the very beginning of the day. It's like, okay, how can I start this day and bring the highest love through me, and keep being humble in my heart of where that is, and to act and be from that without sugarcoating it, without talking it, but by being it.
Thank you. I would say, from my personal experience, I would say it takes mad courage, so much courage to speak so clearly from the depth of your truth, to be in a divine union, to speak especially in the areas that are most uncomfortable with, and even though there may be what you're going to say might jeopardize you being together, but dare to speak the truth, not deny that part of you that is speaking very loud inside of you, and courageously speak from that place, and be a witness to how that is received, and then it's expanded and expands both of you. I feel to be in a sacred divine union requires tremendous integral truthfulness, and dare to authentically speak without compromising, without sacrificing, completely crystal clear speak, and speak the deepest part of your truth, however it is, to speak that. It really is an art of mastery, without sugarcoating it, without trying to zen it, anything. You're angry, you fully express it. You're happy, you fully express it. You fully express all of it with no filter. That is a very interesting experience, because it allows the space to be extremely authentic, and both grow from that place. That's what I would have to say. Yeah.
Well, we're very grateful that you guys joined us on this beautiful day, a little more
November
spontaneous.
16th.
The spontaneous yet planned yet unplanned day, because we just allowed this day to unfold naturally in the rain, cold, but love that we could share with all of you.
And this beautiful time we've had in in South Carolina, being with our sacred sister Tanya and her amazing son Matteo. So grateful with Jules, their dog, and just the sacred time we've had. We're so grateful as we leave tomorrow back to Washington, D.C. and got so much going on. And just enjoy this moment.
Yeah.
Sing for being in a hotel, actually not having anything to do for a change.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. This is like, this is vacation. And you know what? Today I told Michael, it's cold, it's rainy. It's like, if you look at it miserable, but I couldn't be happier. There's nothing more that I would want. Just this moment. We just here.
Sure.
That's it. Simple.
So thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining.
For sharing your beautiful words.
Thank you for being with us.
For being with us, and we just want to say from our hearts to your hearts.
And thank you for being with us. You have become a part of us, and we're so grateful. Like, we're just so grateful. And if you have any personal question you want to ask, feel free to ask. We feel it's important, as you know, authentically share. Yeah.
So much love.
So much
many
love.
Blessings.
Have a beautiful Saturday. Thank you again for joining.